Hi, welcome to the Power Your Research Signature Program presentation. I'm Dr. Sheena Howard, founder and head instructor at Power Your Research, and I'm so happy that you're spending this time with me as we go through how I can take you from where you are today to a confident public figure. Essentially, you will become a media magnet so that you can transform from possibly a little known or relatively unknown scholar to a person who is landing media placements, getting media mentions, and along the way, increasing your income, visibility, and authority. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started here with the program. So, again, welcome. And the Power Your Research program is built on these five sort of fundamentals. And you'll learn as we go through this presentation that not only will you be enrolled in the Power Your Research signature course, but you'll also be working with me one on one as we go through this 90 days to increased visibility, income, and authority. So here you see the five building blocks. We start at the very beginning talking about media mindset and how mindset matters. So we reframe your understanding on self promotion and we shed any of the negative aspects we may have around self promotion because self promotion is key. Then we go into academic brand building, talking about how we can transform what you're doing now into an actual brand. So we create a package for you that we can then use both inside and outside of academe. Each of you that go through this program will get a personalized media strategy based on where you are now and where you want to go. So you'll identify your goals, right? What is your increased income goal? What is your what are your goals around media placements? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to speak? What outlets do you want to have op-eds in? What outlets do you want to appear on? Then we'll go through a really intensive training around pitching yourself, and we'll help brand you and craft your area of research and expertise so that you essentially become a media magnet. And then finally, I'll teach you how you can monetize this brand, add value. And by value, I'm talking about an exchange. So now that you have this brand that you've created, this package that you've created around yourself, right? How can someone pay you for the value you are offering through things like speaking engagements, through things like mailing lists, so that when your, academic book comes out, you have a direct audience to speak to. And then we'll talk learn long term about how you're going to build equity and build on this brand that you've created for yourself. So here's our 9 steps to increase visibility, authority, and income. And as a baseline, what I'll be teaching you in the course is how you can increase your income by at minimum $1,000 a month based on monetizing the brand you've created in doing paid speaking engagements, whether you just want to do local speaking engagements so that you don't have to travel as much, or if you're willing to travel, then we can open up the places that we can do speaking engagements. And so that's part of the monetization, but there are a lot of other aspects in how you can monetize your brand, including endorsements and sponsorships and those types of things. But we would get into those when we get into that last step, step 9. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. But at the bottom here, if you can, this share screen might be in the way a little bit, but that's okay. There's 3 phases: build, engage, and publicize. And within this publicized phase, we're also talking a lot about monetization. So the first phase is mindset. We talk about mindset, how to get in the mindset of self promotion and more of an entrepreneurial sense of how you can repackage your scholarship, your research into something that is brandable and marketable both inside and outside of academe. In my experience, getting significant media coverage in the New York Times, LA Times, PBS, NPR, BBC, all over, when you start to get social proof, a social media following, as well as media coverage, it makes you more marketable at the institution that you're at, but also to other institutions should you want to leave your institution. It just has a positive effect all around. You gain that sort of authority and credibility with that social media following and that media magnet coverage. So we start out with mindset, getting you in the right mindset, getting you into a kind of entrepreneurial mindset around this stuff. Step two, we start out with a vision, and this is where each of you will have a personalized media strategy. We'll talk about your goals, where you want to be, what media outlets you want to be in, what feels like a good fit for you in terms of media coverage. Some people don't like to be on television and rather do radio interviews and podcasts. Some of you might prefer getting op-eds in major news outlets. Some of you won't. So we'll get deep down into your personalized media strategy, and then beyond step two, we'll start the execution and implementation process of how we're going to get you from where you are now to the exposure and visibility that you want to have. And all that involves brand building, will create your brand statement. So for me, my brand statement is I create experiences for free thinkers to feel empowered when they are challenging the status quo. You'll have a really awesome, neat brand statement coming out of this step three, and that will guide you and help you gain an understanding of the audience that you're talking to and how you can promote and market yourself across the media landscape. Step four is talking about strategy. And between steps four and five, this is when you'll start learning about the systems to land media coverage. You'll learn how to pitch. You'll be introduced to at least 100 media contacts from the program that you can start pitching to land those media placements. We'll identify different outlets that you can pitch to, and that will lead us to step six, where we do what I call a media blitz, which is scheduling your media placements around a certain month so that there's a media blitz effect on your across your social media platforms, and it will be like a frenzy, like, oh, Dr. So and so is going to be on this media outlet today and that media outlet tomorrow, and oh, look, I have an op-ed coming out. So it kind of be like a media frenzy that we create around a specific month, to really show that social media proof, and show your social media followers that you're getting all of these media placements. And also within there, we streamline your social media. We get your Twitter followers up. Twitter is extremely important, and we talk about that in the program. We get your LinkedIn profile streamlined, as well as a few other social media outlets that you prefer. And each person is different. As a staple, Twitter is an important place for you to be as an academic trying to gain media coverage, visibility, and exposure. But with that said, everyone sort of has a platform that they gravitate to, and so we'll play to your strengths and the platforms that you prefer. Step seven is about monetization. Okay, now that you have this brand, now that you have this package, now that you've started to get media coverage, now that you've created the foundation and you know the systems that you need to implement to continue to get media coverage, how do we turn that into profit? And so we start getting into talking about implementation and execution around monetization. And you go through a lot of modules in regards to booking paid speaking engagements. And maybe at this point you're not ready to actually try to book paid speaking engagements, but you get the system that I've created to book those speaking engagements on a consistent basis, and you can execute when you are ready. Then, as we go into the steps 8 and 9, build equity and protect your future, I give you other monetization methods outside of speaking engagements so that you can keep the income coming in and understand the various ways that you can create income around the academic brand that you've created. And finally, we talk about protecting your future, which just means as an academic in higher education, sometimes things can feel a little unstable. And so, what we are doing here in this program is saying, hey, look, you are a brand in yourself, whether you are attached to an institution or not. And there are ways that you can take this brand and really build income around that brand so that the job insecurity that you may be feeling um, is less prevalent in your mind, because you know that you have this brand, right, that you can monetize as much or as little as you like. And so that's where you'll end up at the end of the program, into this notable, confident speaker, public figure phase, where you have all of the systems and tools in place. And it's just a matter of implementing over and over and over again as you build that media coverage and exposure. And it's fun, right? It's fun getting that media coverage. It's fun knowing that you have enough value to add, that someone wants you to come on NPR, someone wants you to come on their podcast. You know, it's a really good feeling to know that the research that you do is not only read by a few academics in your field, but it's actually embraced in something that everyday people can learn from and gain from. And that's what we really talk about in that first Mindset Matters module is, hey, look, this is not self promotion. You know, your research has a higher purpose, right? And this is the roadmap to getting your research beyond the walls of academe and into the everyday people that you want to impact, and translating that into financial value for yourself, but also value for the communities that you care about. And so I'm really excited that you are here, interested in this 90-day program in which I'll work with you one on one to take you from where you are to where you want to be. And there should be a link somewhere on this presentation where you can go ahead and schedule that free consultation call with me so we can talk about your goals and what you want to achieve. Thank you for your time.